Hey everybody, Mark Davis joining you on the 20th of November 2014, the day in which we learn what President Obama's plan is to unilaterally change immigration law in the United States. Well, who hasn't seen this coming a few thousand miles down the track? So the really involved and more intriguing question might be, what should we do as conservatives who oppose this in reaction? A number of things come to mind. The impeachment fires will be lit. Stop that. Stop that. Does he deserve it? Sure he does. Many future presidents may. But the key question with regard to any kind of impeachment instinct, any kind of spinal arc you may have jumping right toward articles of impeachment is, does that help us win in 2016? That answer is a big fat no. The best thing that can happen to the remaining 2 years of the Obama administration is for it to kind of dwindle and twist in the winds of irrelevancy. Let us as conservatives spend time focusing on things we would do better, providing better examples of leadership. Look at the gift that's been handed us by the electorate. We have a Republican Senate joining a Republican House. What better way to make an argument for a Republican successor to Obama? I don't want to waste time or breath on what would be a doomed impeachment gambit that would only distract from what we should be doing, and that is the comparison of our superior ideas. And that brings me right back to the best way to respond to the president's unilateral and absolutely unconstitutional attempt to craft immigration law by the wave of his own hand, the pen, the cell phone, call it what you will. A lot of people have called it regal behavior, like the president is behaving as if he were a king or an emperor. Columnist John Cass at the Chicago Tribune had it best. He said, no, I'm a Chicago guy, he wrote. What this is political boss behavior. This is Mayor Obama, like he's mayor of America. This is boss Obama, because the regal imagery with the flowing robes, he doesn't view himself that way. He views himself as a brass knuckle, hard scrabble political boss, able to bring things about just by the dint of his political will. And interestingly, he has actually been able to do that through the legislative process by hosing a number of people using what we might call, how should I phrase it? The stupidity of the American voter. Thank you, Jonathan Gruber. Anyway, the president now seeks to do things without the voters, without the Congress, simply by his own executive power. So what should the Republican response be? What should the conservative response be? Imagine instead, now we've talked about impeachment, please, instead of talking about suing him, instead of talking about some massive peasants with pitchforks kind of response, defunding is always a good idea. The power of the purse strings is great. If this amnesty move, and it is an amnesty move, is going to cost X amount of dollars, taking away the money for it is absolutely always a constructive and proper thing to do. But here's the reaction that I think makes for the best kind of conservative response. Just play along with me here. The president speaks, offers up the amnesty plan purely of his own accord, and conservative America says, I'm sorry, what? What'd he do? Oh, okay, whatever. See, how'd that feel? To drown his agenda in its own deserved irrelevancy. But that's not where it stops. That's where it starts. That's where conservatives, real Republicans in the House and Senate, and we better have more than we used to have moving forward, they get together and they say, look, we're going to craft some legislation that makes sense. It begins and ends with border security. You give us 1 year of provable border security, then we'll talk about legalizing all kinds of folks. The people who have been here for a bunch of years, millions of people, people who are parents of kids with a 4.0 who are 15, and America is the only country they've ever known, blah, blah, blah. I've seen those news stories. They touch my heart as well. But in order to get to that, you've got to go through a turnstile of provable border security. Now, it's a great idea, right? What will happen? President won't sign it. Absolutely will not, cannot, would not sign it. And therein lies what? More gridlock? Yeah, maybe. But you know what gridlock is? Instructive. It shows you where people are willing to draw a line in the political sand. And if indeed a Republican House and a Republican Senate have sent him sensible immigration reform that a bunch of people approve of, border security first, and then a path to legalization, not citizenship, legalization, and the president says no, he's the obstructionist. He's the president of no, you might say. And it makes it a lot easier for a big and wide, talented Republican field to cram onto a debate stage in the year 2015 and say, hey, next year, how about a president who will sign this sensible immigration reform? Just a thought. I'm in the business of sharing thoughts, so give me a buzz, 7 to 10, except for Fridays, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., because I get to do Bill Bennett's Morning in America. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us here at 660amtheanswer.com.